Do I exist as a reflection of what you see me as? As a child, my mother often reminded me that freedom is sacrifice. So what part of me do I give up? Culinary school insists my American roots. I'm offered 3 Asian restaurants to pursue upon graduation. My family agrees. They aren't fond of anything but Chinese cuisine anyway. But food is where I find myself. This dish, it's a search for the in-between. Black sesame for Grandpa, the flavor of his homemade morning porridge, mixed with rye, like my favorite Jewish deli where I drink matzo ball soup when I'm sick. I marinate the quail eggs for a few days in advance. The same process as tea eggs. It's marbling, reminding me of after-school snacks and hiking with my family. But its yolk is golden and dripping, a texture I know they would undoubtedly hate. It's pickled in beet, not soy, a bit of a false representation. Some call me ABC or American-born Chinese, yet I'm not from here. There's salt and brine from clams, those supersized American cherry stones. They receive the well-loved dim sum-style treatment here, but when I go back to my native country, no one recognizes me. So I tuck the clams inside layers of pasta, surprise pieces of Chinese yore like the Monkey King I still remember fondly. I stir in spice, a love I was born with from my father's hometown. But it's not the demure madame of mala. It's habanero, sharp and tangy, a recipe I learned in Haiti, direct and fierce in a way my parents said no Chinese girl should ever be. Putting it all together, I wonder if food is my way of being an individual, not just another minority inching towards acceptance. I pipe in smoke at the last minute, curls of applewood that breathe through like a kiss. They have no deeper meaning, and you know what? That's okay too.
What a beautiful glass cage. I remember it being comfortable once. She's so quiet and sweet, my teachers gushed to my parents, unlike the others. I know who she was referring to. The insecure always find power in sowing the seed of contention. It wasn't long before my report card showed something different, when I began to disagree, to interject when not spoken to take pride in the free speech my country congratulates itself on. The star of this dish is veal sweetbreads. I find we have much in common. It's a lucky exception from the rule that offals are distasteful, an aspiration for all minorities. Searching for acceptance in fine dining kitchens, always reminded of its replaceability, dare it stray too far. Tonghao is chrysanthemum. I grew up loving its herbal notes, its refreshing bitterness. I see it more often now, in salads marked as enlightened Caesar. A new green the chef discovered, a server tells me. Our stories are more than an echo, but there is little wiggle room between what I want and falling in line. We love diversity, but we already covered an Asian angle this year, a publication tells me. This is too niche. We're aiming to have wider appeal. An Asian outlet agrees. They remind me to stand down, to be grateful for what I have already. So I quietly buy my celtuce in Chinatown, the hottest new vegetable, according to Epicurious, a revelation from Stone Barns. I thank the farmers who are growing this for years, because to them, people like me were demand enough. There's sweet and sour sauce, fighting to reclaim the pieces of itself that remain unsoaked in ketchup. This is the Shanghai version, my birthplace. Its earthy sweetness from rock sugar, a distinct tang from black vinegar. It brings back memories of tender pork ribs from childhood, always my favorite dinner. Its richness is akin to demi-glace, complex and able as any of the mother sauces. I hide everything under a rice sheet. Its slippery texture, some call disgusting, encapsulates so much of what I like about myself, but am too afraid to admit. In the end, being Asian American is a maze, a question about a hyphen, a contradiction, all bound tightly together in a feeling of growing up somewhere but never belonging.
What is authenticity? Is it a search for meaning or a game of social capital? I may say I'm free-willed enough to ignore the rules of some tire company, but I know that's just pretend. I am not from the City of Lights, the most romantic place in the world. Instead, I'm from the place we associate with shoddy plastic toys, fake infant formula, pollution. It took a month to cure these turkey eggs, but that art is meaningless here, selectively banished to the ethnic shelf, a subset within our embrace of diversity. So I disguise the yolks as creme anglaise, a beginner dessert sauce. It rolls off the tongue seductively into others' wallets with ease. Life is full of vices, so we cherry pick what we deem acceptable. Fat is flavor. So is foie, only a little inhumane. But MSG is poison. Bubble tea will ruin your bikini body, but not this red bean mousse. It's elegant, elevated. No need for objectivity when there is marketing. It's easier to assume a monolith of the countries who serve us, supply our demand for cheap goods, so when we splurge, it can be something aspirational, imported from France. It's the same reason I was never taught techniques from such unworthy countries. What use do I have for the traditional wrapper? Long hours laboring over alkaline water, golden syrup, egg, and flour. I substitute a cookie instead. This is not even a mooncake, but if I call it such, I'm a chef, I shrug. If I misrepresented a few things, it's because I'm awakening my creativity. Truthfully, I've forgotten much of my own history. Maybe that's why I've internalized in others. I grew up wishing I would wake up blonde, but I could never give up my love for soy milk, even if I drink it over ice. I've learned to forgive myself for blurring the edges. After all, I am what I eat, and Asian food has fed me well.